My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Ultimate Editions, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And so here we have the Ultimate Edition's Nature Boy Ric Flair posing out of the packaging. Before we go on to the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. The Nature Boy does come with two different head sculpts. We do get the smiling expression that he has on him right now. Then we do get a wooing expression, which is my favorite head out of this bunch. He also comes with 3 pairs of hands. We get a pair of grip hands. We get a pair of finger pointing hands. Then we get a pair of 4 horseman hands. He also comes with his entrance robe, which looks very nice. I do love it. It says Ric Flair on the back. And his final accessory is the big gold belt, which was supposed to be the WCW belt, but WCW did use the big gold belt. But other than that, he doesn't come with anything else. I think a neutral head would have been really nice to have, but with what Ric Flair comes with, I think he comes with just enough and what you need. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at the Nature Boy. And so here we have a closer look at the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and I really do like this head sculpt, although I do feel like he is missing a neutral expression, which that's something that they should always include with an Ultimate Editions figure. It's expressive head, a neutral, and then a specific head. But I think this works for Ric Flair. Ric Flair always had a smile on his face. I kind of wish that he also had a yelling face. That would have also been nice. But I really do like this head sculpt. Now, it is in contention for a really great head sculpt, but I think the best head sculpt out of this is the wooing face. This is by far the best wooing face I have ever seen, and the face I wanted to, the Retrofest Ric Flair to have. Really happy that we did finally get a wooing head. So having a look at Ric Flair here, again, Mattel has done a fantastic job with the likeness to Ric Flair. It's obvious, you can tell it is Ric Flair, and I really do like the way that they made his feathered hair. They could have gone with a shorter hair for Ric Flair, but I think the longer feathered look is iconic for Ric Flair, and we had a shorter hair version with the Retrofest Ric Flair, so changing it up a little does help out. So yeah, really do like the hair. And normally I would talk about how the hair needs highlights. Ric Flair doesn't need highlights in his hair. His hair was always bleach blonde, and I mean, it had no shading to it even in real life, so this is pretty accurate to what you would expect from Ric Flair. So with the head out of the way, let's actually talk about the body now. I do like what Mattel is doing with the Ultimate Editions. It is showing that they did listen to the fans, and they are making improvements. Now, there are improvements to the body, which we'll get into when we have a look at his articulation. But for now, let's just look at it strictly from an aesthetic standpoint. This is a really good body for Ric Flair. The Retrofest was kind of too shredded for Ric Flair. This has the perfect amount of flab to ab that you would expect from Ric Flair. Ric Flair, though he was in shape, was kind of flabby, so he did have abs underneath his flab, and I think they did a really good job, even to the point where you see some of his flab hanging over his tights. Perfect body for Ric Flair. I could not be more happy with the way this came out. And one thing that always bothered me about Ric Flair, it bothers me about wrestlers when they do this, they have bare arms, like no wrist tape, no elbow pads, no nothing. I don't know what it is about straight arms that bother me so much. I think I kind of prefer seeing wrist tape on a wrestler, and Ric Flair here doesn't have wrist tape. I don't think he wore wrist tape that often, if at all. I know he did tape up his fingers every so often. And interesting thing, whenever he had his fingers taped up like that and he was in a high profile match, he had a blade inside the tape, so whenever he would need to get some juice, he'd just flick the tape, juice himself, flick the tape back closed, and then he was juiced up, which was really interesting. I didn't even know that until I was listening to Jim Cornette's podcast. He is wearing purple tights here. Now I know we have gotten blue, black, we got the WrestleMania Ric Flair red, And I think that's all we've seen on Ric Flair. I think they're all really good colors. Me, personally, I would have liked to see another red attire for Ric Flair, or even his green attire. That would also look nice, but purple is still a very nice choice for Ric Flair. It does have the RF right there. Really good and really simple. I really love how simple Ric Flair's attire is. It has just enough to know that it is Ric Flair, but it's also very simple. Now, going on to the rest of the figure, one thing I do have to point out is that when you get this figure, his knee pads are actually right here on his knees. Anybody who's followed Ric Flair's career knows he never wore the knee pads on his knees. He always wore them on his calf, and I don't know what it is about the right knee pad, but it is a little bit harder to get down to the calf than the left knee pad. Look at it, still wants to fight me. I'll fight anybody. My hands are ready to eat for everyone. But yeah, his calves, or his knee pads, should be right here on his calves. It's a really simple fix, and I understand why they do it. They put the knee pads on the knees. But yeah, Ric Flair always wore his knee pads on his calves here and his shins, just to give his shins a little more girth, because Ric Flair was a very self-conscious wrestler, and that's why he wore his knee pads the way he did. Also, when he would deliver the knee drop, the shin would hit the opponent, so that's an extra layer of protection right there. Now, a little thing to note is that his boots don't match his tights at all. We have these really nice pink boots, which look really nice. It is a little bit loose on mine, but he stands fine. It's not like he'll tip over anytime soon. We do have the RF in that purple, which look good. Then we have the white lacing, which again looks very nice. I do love this figure. Turned out to be a really, really, really good figure in my opinion. There's a little bit of splotch right here on the back of his boot, but it's on the back. You're never going to see it. So yeah, really happy with the way this figure came out. And Mattel did an excellent job with the body. I think the proportions on this Ric Flair look good. Even though I think his arms could be a little bit bigger, it still looks really nice. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually compare Ric Flair to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Ric Flair posed next to an Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And for one final comparison, we do have the Ultimate Edition Ric Flair posed next to the WrestleFest Ric Flair. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Ric Flair's articulation. Now, he does have the new standard when it comes to Ultimate Edition figures, which if you're not sure what that is, let's actually run through it really fast. He does have a ball joint here at the head, which does let him look down a little bit. He can look up, and because they did go with the longer hair, he can't really look up all too well. If they went with a shorter hair, he can look up better, but overall I think that's good enough. He does have some side-to-side tilt. He does turn left and right, no problem. Arms are on ball joints. They do go out to the side all the way. They do go all the way around. We finally get butterfly joints on our Ultimate Edition figure, and you can see they do go very far back, so I do like that. They don't go too far forward, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to see a little more forward mobility. And something interesting to note is that these arms do pop off very easy. So there is that. In case you want to swap these arms out, you can. We do have bicep swivel, which works no problem. Double bend at the elbow, giving us some really good range there. Swivel and hinge at the wrist, works no problem. We do have a ball joint here at the torso, which does lean to the left, leans to the right. No rotation, but it does lean back pretty good. Leans better than we've seen on most Ultimate Edition figures, so I am happy that they are improving this. It's not what I would like it to be, but it's an improvement over what we originally got. So yeah, really do like that. We do have a rotation right here at his waist. Legs do kick forward to about right there. Go back, out to the side, no problem. We do have thigh rotation, which works fine. Double bend at the knee also works no problem. Really do like that. Swivel at the boot. We do have a hinge in the ankle going back and forward. Then we do have rocker ankle, which does work nice. And then we have a toe hinge. So overall, Ric Flair here has some pretty impressive articulation, and I am really glad that Mattel is starting to improve it with these Ultimate Edition figures, making it more bang for your buck. But is he really worth the price of admission? Well, let's actually stay tuned for my final thoughts, and then we'll see if he's worth the extra money. And so here we have the Ultimate Editions. Ric Flair posed for my final thoughts, and overall Mattel has knocked it out of the park with this figure. There's a lot of things to enjoy about the look of this figure, from the faces that look just like you would expect Ric Flair to look like. The smiling expression is really nice, and the wooing head is something I've been asking for a while. Couple that with the accessories that he comes with, this is a very well done figure, and the articulation is very good on this figure. Even though there are some points that can be improved on, I think Mattel is getting better and better with these Ultimate Edition figures. So, is Ric Flair worth the price of admission? Now, the Ultimate Edition figures will run you about $30, which is kind of steep considering that you really don't get too much more than you get with an Elite figure. I know you do get multiple heads and multiple hands, but we also get that with some Elite figures. And I do feel like the articulation on this Ric Flair is very good, and it's a step in the right direction, but I don't see this as a $30 figure. I see this more of a $25 figure, even though he does come with this very glorious robe, which looks so nice. The robe itself sells it for me, and the overall look of this figure, I still think $30 is kind of steep for this figure. Now, I do recommend picking up this particular version of the Nature Boy Ric Flair because he's such a well done figure. There's a lot of things that Mattel did right with this figure. Very little things that they did wrong, which I think is a really, really nice thing, especially coming from Mattel, who's made a lot of mistakes in the past. This is a very excellent figure to own in your collection. So if you haven't already pre-ordered this guy or ordered Ric Flair, I highly recommend you do, especially from places like Amazon, Ringside Exclusive, or Ringside Collectibles, or even find them out in retail. Now, Ultimate Editions are kind of hard to find in retail. I know some places do get them more often than others. My area is just devoid of figures at this point, so I just get everything online. If you can get this Ric Flair, definitely add him to your collection. And with that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE videos and my Ultimate Edition playlist. Hopefully you find it informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.